Nova Scotia is currently adding 7.7 people for every 1 unit of housing being built. Now, I'm no mathematician, but based on my calculations, this is not adding up for a happy ending for our housing situation across the province. At 7.7, this is the fourth widest ratio in the country, and it's higher than some other provinces with very well-known housing challenges, such as Ontario and BC. Now, for reference, Ontario is at 5.5, BC is at 3.5, the highest in the country is New Brunswick at 11.3, and the lowest in the country is Quebec at 2.8. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about some of these stats, and truth be told, they're a little bit damning, and that's why in some other videos I've made recently, I mentioned that this may only just be the beginning of the housing crisis in Nova Scotia. Now, just before I get into it, if you're new here, my name's Andrew Stephens, and I've been a realtor in Halifax for 9 years, and if you want to be educated on the Halifax real estate market, then this is the channel for you. So go ahead and hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. And if you want to book a call or a meeting with me to chat about the market, or if you're thinking about making a move in the area, you can do so anytime in the Calendly link below my description at a time when it's convenient for you. Not long ago, back in 2016, we added about 7,200 people to the province that year, and that was the most in any single year since 1984. And then from 2016 to 2021, we were the fastest growing downtown core in the country. And then in 2022, we were the second fastest growing, only behind Moncton, New Brunswick. So we're growing at a very quick rate here in Nova Scotia, as everybody knows. And over the last 6 years, we've added about 100,000 people to the province, while the previous 100,000 that we added took almost 4 decades to do so. While the population has been skyrocketing since 2016, the housing completions have barely changed in terms of how many we're averaging every year, which is slightly over 4,000 new builds per year. Now, in terms of our ratio being 7.7 new people added versus every 1 unit of housing being built, this has changed very quickly. And if I look historically at the data, from 1973 to 2022, we were averaging about 1 to 1, putting us at the second lowest ratio in the country. And now we're all the way up to 7.7, which obviously is a huge issue going forward. When housing supply is low, the cost of renting and purchasing a home tends to increase, which doesn't bode well for anybody. And let's face it, everybody is feeling this pinch right now in the housing market. Renters, owners, young families, seniors, newcomers, students, and workers, you name it. Everybody is feeling this housing crunch right now in Nova Scotia. Keep in mind, we are going to continue to add people at a quick rate, and the Premier has come out and publicly stated several times that the benefits of population boom outweigh the challenges that it's causing, and they want to increase the population to 2 million people by 2060. I will say that the province has been doing quite a bit lately in terms of speeding up the process for getting more and more housing starts. And on top of that, they've been spending a lot of money in terms of initiatives for new affordable housing and new public housing going forward. But I fear that it's a little bit too little too late, and all of this should have been coming 10 years ago. The truth is, we're moving further and further behind the 8 ball, as right now we're on pace for another record-setting year in terms of immigration. So these challenges are going to continue. And by the time we get all these initiatives in place that have started this year or been announced this year, we're going to need more and more housing again. So let's say it's 2025, 2026, and we start finishing some of these new builds. Well, by then, there's still a big gap in the market, and we're going to need more and more housing for all the population that we're adding. So again, we're moving further and further behind the 8 ball. So I don't anticipate the overall housing situation in Nova Scotia changing anytime in the near future. So while we have identified the problem and we've made some major changes to the permitting process, additional funding, more public housing being built, and the list goes on, this gap continues to get wider. And until this gap is closed, we're not going to see a big change to the housing market, and we're going to continue to see the same struggles in the housing world that we're seeing across the province today. So unfortunately, unless we start building a lot more homes every year, this housing problem in Nova Scotia is likely to get worse before it gets better, in my opinion. Now, if you're still here watching and you got any value out of this video, all I ask is that you hit that like button and you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my future videos, and that'll help push this out to more people like you who may be interested in seeing videos about the Halifax real estate market. And until next time, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your support, and have a great day.